It took some seconds to set everything up. This is because we want to include the results of the workshops and also the best presentation award and stuff like that, and that was all produced within the last 2 minutes. So we hope everything is now there and correct, otherwise we will do some spontaneous adaptation of content and cheat a little bit maybe. Okay, first we will go through the workshops and present very briefly the results and what happened in the workshops, and afterwards I would like to have kind of a discussion with you about SwissText and the future of SwissText, because I was approached now by at least 4 people. What happens next year? What are we going to do? Will there be another SwissText and stuff like that? And I think this is something where you should have also some influence. But we start with the workshops, and we start with the NLP clinic. And Thilo Stadelmann will present it. Ah, you will do it together. Okay, so.
Thank you.
And this is the microphone for you.
So, is it on? It is on. Wonderful.
No.
Thank you. So we had a wonderful workshop with about 30 participants in a very interactive format. In the beginning, we told everybody you have to either present a question for which you want input, or you have to participate by giving input. You cannot just sit there and listen. And it worked very nicely. We had so many questions that we did 2 sessions in parallel, answering, I think, 9 questions in the end. And that is an interesting part, all focused on either we don't have labels for our text data, so how can we do clustering and unsupervised stuff? Or we don't have labels, how can we cheaply and quickly label the data? So I'm not a text guy, I'm just doing machine learning on images usually. And there I usually see that in most applied projects the problem is that data is missing to do learning on, and it's interesting to see that it's not better in your community. I think it was a very interesting format where we could really help the presenters, and we have one special point that we want to highlight before I say something about the picture I showed you.
Hi everyone. So yeah, what occurred or was very reoccurring during all the discussions about the different questions was always the question around external data sources. External data sources are heavily used to produce embeddings, for example, just to use them for all kinds of specific problems later on, but also to enrich your data sets or to learn something about a different part of your problem, get categories that you want to categorize into, or build actually classifiers that will help you later on with your separate problem where you could reuse that. Thank you.
And if you want to experience such interactive formats more often, the Swiss Alliance for Data Intensive Services that organized that workshop is just creating a new expert group on specifically natural language processing. So if you want to meet these 2 handsome guys, send a mail to Mark or whomever. You have the mail address of the organizers, and we can link you up, and you can have that once a quarter, basically. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a small gift, and maybe Don, you can come to the front as well. And
Is Ruby still there, or Sylvia?
Sylvia, I saw left for some minutes ago.
We take 2.
Yes, but only if you see them very soon, because these are Luxemburgerli, which will only keep good for the next 2 days, probably. Thank you very much for organizing, and maybe next year.
Thank you.
Again. Then we had a second workshop, which was really a workshop with Tanya and Jan. Maybe you can come to the front, both of you, with the goal to to come up with ideas for Swiss text, Swiss German analytics, and I hand over to you.
Right, thank you. So this is well, sorry, we didn't really prepare so well like the other guys, but I promise the workshop was as good. So what we did actually last year, we noticed at this conference that there are several groups who work on Swiss German, so different tasks that involve processing Swiss German. This is an extremely difficult language. And then we decided in the meantime to have a workshop at this conference, associated with this conference, where we would talk in more depth about what needs to be done and make sort of a plan of how can we collaborate together and in order to increase the data sets, to have enough data for everybody to train their models for what they need, right? So this workshop was the first step. We have come up with a couple of new steps, and one of them is to organize a follow-up workshop where we will discuss in more detail about funding and try to prepare some applications for funding collaborative efforts on Swiss German. Do you have anything to add? Do you have anything to add?
No, it's okay.
Right. The three of us were the organizers, right? Right.
Okay, thank you. Don't run away. Yeah. Thanks for like this.
Well, but get in touch with Mark if you need anything.
Okay. Yeah.
We get the joke.
Okay, thank you. And third workshop was the hackathon, our spontaneous workshop, and I think you can present it better than I can. That one? Yeah, Mike? Yeah. You can click through this.
During the hackathon, the participants had to solve a classification problem. They had to classify hate speech. The time was rather short, just 90 minutes. That's usually not even enough to train a whole model. So it was quite difficult. And still, we got a few rather good submissions. So, rank number 3 is Tilia Ellendorf. Please come forward. Congratulations. Number 2 is Ivo Nussbaumer. Congratulations as well. And in first place is apparently 0.68. No, I'm just kidding. Lukas Neukomm. 0.68 is the score. And for reference, the second place got a score of about 0.67, so the submissions were quite close to each other. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you were not alone organizing it, so you come to the stage. Dirk? Use is outside. No, use is back there. I think this was really a very spontaneous action. So setting up a hackathon within a couple of 2 days or 3 days is cool. So thank you very much for doing this. I feel a little bit like Christmas because now the next person comes. Sorry. I mean, this is the final session, so this is supposed to be like this, but with all these competitions and awards, maybe we do it next year. We just make a little table here and everybody goes and picks something. Okay, so Best Presentation Award. Honestly, I checked the numbers twice, and I'm still not sure if it's correct. This is a rating for the best presentation. I want to know how whoever did this, because I never saw something like this. I mean, having many people convinced that it's a good presentation is cool, but everyone, I mean, it was only 13, maybe he just took them to lunch or whatever and convinced them to vote with a 5.0. No, it's really great. And honestly, I didn't attend the presentation, so I don't know who gave it. Khalil or Mark or Pierre, whoever is here. You gave the presentation? Congratulations, very cool. So you get a helicopter for flying even higher, but that's not. And we will fill this out afterwards because we were not sure about who gave the presentation. So just come afterwards to me, and we will just put your name and the signature and stuff like that. Okay. Congratulations. Very, very cool. Yeah. Can you give us a hint how to give such a presentation?
Effects help a lot and make the public interact with you.
Okay.
I gave the audience like the opportunity to interact with the chatbot.
So it was a live demo and they were talking to the chatbot?
Yeah.
Okay, and it was a good chatbot, obviously.
Well,
okay, you don't have to answer it. Thanks again, and congratulations. Now, before I go on, I want to make some short announcements because people ask me a lot about these things. We promise to have proceedings, and in difference to other conferences, we will publish them very much after the conference because we want to invite some of the poster presenters to also contribute to the proceedings, and we will include the workshop results in the proceedings, and this would be hard before the conference. So within the next 2 months approximately, we will collect all the data and the papers and then publish the proceedings, and we will drop an email once they are online and available. Then we asked when you registered if you want to be in the list of participants, and we will send it out to those people who made a tick at the yes. So only those will get the list, and the other ones will not be on the list and will not get the list. So if you want to be on the list, just let us know. You can switch it still. Then we took videos of all the lectures except of one, and we will put it on the website. Lorenz, when will it be available? 2 to 3 weeks. So we will drop you an email. And we will also collect the slides and the posters and put it on the website like last year. Yes, we have a mailing list which you find on the website, and there is this feedback form. So after the conference, we would really appreciate your feedback, not only to improve the conference, hopefully, but because we are sponsored by InnoSwiss, the successor of CTI, and they want to know whether it was a success or not. And this is based on your feedback, not on what I say. So if you say something like, oh, this was ridiculously bad, we will not have funding for next year. But apart from that, we need the feedback to really say, oh, there were people, and we can really make a good stance there. Okay. And now the difficult question, where do we go next? What happens in the next year? Will there be another Swiss text? And if, in which way? This is a question that I cannot answer at the moment. I'm pretty sure there will be a Swiss text. But how it would look like is also up to you. So I prepared some 4 questions, and I would like to vote briefly whether you want to have it in this way or the other way to get an impression what you prefer. This year, for the first time, we made it for 2 days. And this is a little bit more effort. It's more time on your side that you have to invest. And the first question is whether you want to have it for 1 or 2 days next year. Well, even 3 days would be possible, but let's say 1 or 2 days. So who thinks it should be a 1-day conference? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, about 20. 2 days? That's the majority, I would say, a vast majority. Okay, so 2 days it is, probably. I don't promise anything, but... and then, at the moment, I would say 85 to 90% of all participants are from Switzerland. We could try to attract more people from, say, Germany, Austria, France, Italy, the surrounding countries. That would have the positive impact that we would have more variety in talks and topics and stuff like that. Well, if we go even further to Australia, Indonesia, and South America, it has a negative impact that you talk to people which you probably don't see it again next year. So the question is, do we want to stay local, a Swiss conference, or do we want to extend and have more international guests? Who wants to stay local in Switzerland? Oh, a few. Who wants to extend and have more international people? That's the majority, I would say. Not a strong majority, but okay. Third question. Applied or scientific conference? At the moment, we have a special condition here at SwissText. I mean, there is a lot of scientific conferences where you just submit papers and present scientific results. And we have a mixture. We have about half of the people from industry. And this is the opportunity to meet with them, to come up with project ideas. So I see some people are already agreeing. So the question is, do we want to shift more in the direction of science and have more technical papers, or do we want to stay like it is with a lot of industrial demonstrations, tooling, which is, I would say, more the risk also that there are marketing talks sometimes. I saw in the reviews already that someone said, oh, this was pure marketing. Well, if there is a company who invests to be here and send someone, then there is a risk that they want to sell something. That's true. So the question is, do we want to shift from applied to scientific, or do we want to stay applied? So who thinks we should?
Both? 1 day each?
We tried this year, but it didn't really work out, because if you want to have more scientists, you really have to have formal proceedings and stuff like that, and we didn't really attract many scientific papers yet. So we would have make an effort, and then you would have, I mean, they come from foreign countries, so they stay for 2 days, and they will intermix, and this a little bit interacts with the Swiss or international part. You cannot invite them for 1 day and then say, now go, and we make another day. Maybe we can. It's more the question of what we want. So who thinks it should be more industrial focused like it is now? Okay, scientific. That's really few people, so it should be more industry focused. And last question is not even one option. What do you prefer? Talks, workshops, posters, free coffee breaks, demos, whatever. So, talks. Who wants to have talks like we had these parallel sessions? Okay, definitely. Posters? Definitely. Workshops? Okay, definitely. Demos? Not so definitely. So maybe. Okay. What?
Coffee breaks.
Coffee breaks, okay. No, I mean, it's a serious question. We, in particular today, shrank the time for coffee break to half an hour, because we said we cannot let you stand outside for 2 hours and, oh, now it's 20 minutes. What do? I don't know anybody. So waiting for the time to go over. Do you want to have more time to interact? Who wants to have more time than we had this conference to interact? No one. So you're the only one, Thilo. We drank a coffee one by one. Okay, and now I ask a lot of questions, so I guess you have some feedback probably as well. So I would like to ask you to come up with ideas how to improve the conference. Maybe we can discuss your ideas briefly for 5 minutes, and then we'll have apéro outside. Do you have any suggestions what we could do?
It's not a suggestion, but I really like the poster session presentation where they had like 1 minute slots.
Mm-hmm.
because you get so many ideas in such a short time.
Okay.
Maybe you can do 2 or 5 minute slots, but lots of ideas instead of 25-minute slots.
Okay, so shorter talks but more talks.
I mean, I wouldn't shorten all talks, but
Okay.
I like this short talk
Mhm.
speech.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Dirk?
I'd like to see a shared task.
Okay.
I know, it's not a problem.
You know, no, you're leaving my group, so you can say it because it's something like a loop. Yeah. Okay, a shared task.
That would be
Mhm. A shared task is a competition where we give out in advance some data set, and like the competition we had, but you have something like 3 or 4 weeks, and then in the end we will evaluate it here and present the results here. Yeah.
You could also have one tutorial on something that's really new.
Something
One
that's
tutorial,
yeah.
like 1 hour on something that's really new, where you can do hands-on or try out something.
Okay. Oh, by the way, can someone of you take a note, because I'm pretty sure I will forget half of these things. A tutorial is about what, for example?
Something that's really new, some new tool in NLP that's just out, and that people get introduced in 1 hour just to have an overview of how to use it, maybe just something.
Okay.
Something that's really new.
Some new technology, or
Yeah, some kind of new tool.
taking some recent paper and say, or
Well, if there is a paper with a tool set, yeah,
Mhm.
something that you can use.
something
the
applied.
software-
Okay.
Something that you can use the software and try and
Okay.
learn it quickly.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think it will make sense to label the tracks as scientific or applied, so I know if I say
Mhm.
something
Yeah.
what I can expect or should expect.
Yeah, we thought about that, and we really mixed it up more based on topics like the chatbot track, and then we had something on word embeddings, which was kind of applied, kind of scientific. We can try that.
I
For-
mean, you can just make a label, like put an A for applied and an S for scientific. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Just so it can be mixed. I don't mind changing
Yeah,
rooms.
but that you have an yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we can make something like a technologically level label or something like that.
Yeah.
Tech skill label.
Super
That's
sophisticated.
mhm.
Basically.
Yeah. Well, then the author has to provide this label probably and saying, nobody will understand my talk, so. But well, he wouldn't do that because then we will reject it. I mean, so okay, but we can try. Yes, it's a good idea.
Not having a proceeding?
Sorry?
How about not having a proceeding? Because many of us, if we have like results and we might like to publish on an international venue, and they have this no prior publishing regulation, then it kind of is limiting.
Not really. I mean, if you submitted a full scientific paper of 8 pages, then it will be in the proceedings. But this is really the idea, that we have proceedings which count like a publication. Whereas if you just gave an abstract of about half a page, then this doesn't count as a publication. And we will note it in the proceedings as well. So there will be peer-reviewed papers, and there will be the abstracts, which is not really a publication. So you can easily publish wherever you want. Yeah. And we will publish it in an online proceedings form, which also allows to republish it. It doesn't really count unless we find a printing service to do the proceedings printed. We will try to figure out. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Yeah.
About tracking the output. So I remember when you asked for feedback, and then one of the questions is whether the conference resulted in a useful contact or collaboration
Yeah.
or something like that. And then for me, both times it was a bit too early because I didn't have like a forged
Yeah.
collaboration. There were some negotiations, but then, and I said no to the feedback. Well, 3 months later, I had this problem.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the question there is to reformulate so that people can report that there
Yeah.
was some movement up.
Yes, we basically cannot do this because we have to report to InnoSwiss within a certain time, and they want to know what is the output.
Maybe you can ask people, were there some steps towards collaboration, something like that.
Yes, yeah.
Add the previous year's results to this year.
Yes, we will do that anyway. So,
Or you, this
yeah, yeah.
is asked for the 2 years before.
Yeah, we did it. I mean, we asked for all the previous Swiss texts, so yeah. Okay. But I mean, you mentioned that you had two follow-ups from the Swiss Text Conference.
Yeah.
Who else had already follow-ups from the conference? Nobody else. Okay. Okay. Now, if you have any other ideas, just drop us a note, and we will hopefully incorporate it in the next edition of the conference. Since you're all waiting for the apéro, I would like to thank different people, but I would like to start with you as an audience, because I was told, at least by 3 speakers, that this was really a great atmosphere, and I had the same impression. I mean, there were always questions at the end. I don't know if you have ever been at a scientific conference when there is the talk is over, and then the conference chair says, "Any questions?" And then there's nothing, and then he says, "Now I have a question. What was important in your work?" This is ridiculous, and this was not here. I mean, it was really great. So it was a great atmosphere, and I think it's kind of your. I lose my words. So thank you very much from my side, and also from the speakers. And on the other hand, I want to thank the speakers and the session chairs for their help, and they really did a great work staying in time. I actually cannot manage that, I see. But apart from that, we had the organizing committee, and I would like to ask you to come to the front. Whoever was in the organizing committee, Pius? Yes, you were, definitely. Yeah, Jan, Don. Lorenz, Ada, who take the pictures and the videos. Amrita is outside. Maybe you can fetch her. And since you are all locals, I can give you some wine.
She's not on the booth. You know where she is?
No, I don't know. Well, otherwise we do it afterwards. So you can just take some wine, please.
Thank you.
Yes, you come to front as well, and Ada as well. Can I give you this one? Danke. One selfie of. Come on, I do it.
Okay.
I do a selfie with. Can you turn this around like this?
Yeah, you could just.
Yeah, that's better. Thank you very, very much. I don't know if you have any impression how much work organizing such a conference is. We apply for funding, and then we write something like it's 350 hours of work. And honestly, it was more, I think. So there is a lot of work organizing all this stuff like catering and organizing 3 video cameras, thanks to Lorenz. And it's really, you have so many ends, and it's a great team. Thank you very, very much. Okay, könnt euch. Don, you didn't get one, or did I miss you? No. That's, and they are so shy. I mean, thank you very much. Okay, so this is the end of the 3rd Swiss Text Conference. I hope you enjoyed it. For me, it was an experience to have it for 2 days, because it really more than doubles the effort, but also the enthusiasm and the joy, because it was really 2 days of talking to people, and I had so many cool contacts and discussions. This is the reason why we are doing it, because we want to see you again. And I think now it's time for the apéro, and I hope you come back home. Yes! Sorry. Okay, I stopped talking and wish you a nice apéro.